Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Getting to Know the Family. Welcome back to another episode of Getting to Know the Family, the show where we get to know you, the parishioners of Holy Family Parish in San Jose. I'm your host, Scott Thomas, and I'm here in our church next to our baptismal font. Jesus told his disciples, "Go therefore and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit." And they did just that. They evangelized the entire world, spreading the gospel to the ends of the earth, the good news of Jesus Christ. One of the apostles in the first century went as far as India. And my guest today, Philip Sovi, was born and raised in India as a Catholic Christian. And it's because of that, he now lives in San Jose as part of our Holy Family Parish. So come with me as we get to know Philip Sovi. Well, welcome, Philip. We're glad to have you today on Getting to Know the Family. Glad to have you with us.
I'm happy to be here.
All right. So we're here to get to know you. You are originally from India.
Yes, that's correct.
About what age did you come over to the United States?
I came here when I was around 26 years old.
Okay, so as an adult. So your formative years were then in India.
Yes, that's correct.
Why don't you tell me a little about what was it like growing up in India?
Yeah, I was born and raised in the southern state of India, called Kerala. My parents were Catholics, and their parents and generations they can think of, they're all Catholics. And I was brought up in a Catholic background, Catholic environment. My parents were extremely religious, especially my mom. And this was a really remote agricultural village. And when I was growing up there was no electricity, there was no modern facilities. It's actually kind of a really a backward community. And it's all farming community mostly, and my parents were farmers too, with the small scale farmers.
So was the village primarily Catholic, or because being Catholic in India is not the norm, right?
That's a good question. Actually, my state in India, we have a good distribution of Christians, mostly Catholics,
okay,
and Hindus and Muslims. And I think about 55% of Hindus and about 20% Christians, and mostly Catholics, and 25% Muslims, and rest other religions. That's the distribution in our state. There's a history behind it. I'm not sure that you're aware. Saint Thomas, one of the 12 disciples, he came to India, to our state, in the year AD 52, and he started converting people to Christianity from there. So my Catholic order, it's called Syro-Malabar. It's originated from the Syrian Catholic Eastern version of actually Catholic Church. It was brought by him to my state, and then he started 7 churches before he was martyred there in the year 72. So okay, that's a long history we have for Catholics.
What brought you to the U.S.?
I came here to work. Actually, I came on a H-1B visa for professionals. I was working as a software professional in India for 3 years before I got this opportunity, and then this was a great opportunity to actually work in some of the dream companies I wanted to work at. Okay. So I started working at Sun Microsystems when I came here, and that's how I ended up here.
Okay, so how did you go from such a tiny village with no electricity to becoming a software engineer?
I wanted to give a little more background about my parents. My parents had only elementary school level education. My mother had only 3rd grade level education. My father 4th grade. But again, it could be a huge influence, I would say, from the Catholic Church and also the Catholic ministries. Basically, one of the major roles the Catholic community playing in our state was actually healthcare and education. So much focus. So all the people in the remote villages also given so much awareness that, okay, your future of your children is depending on the education, how much they can get. So I did not have high school in my village, so from 8th grade onwards, I had to be at a boarding school.
Okay.
And my parents definitely did a lot of sacrifice to give me good education. So I wanted to pay it forward to my kids also, and then people I could help. So.
Wonderful. Okay. So, how did you find Holy Family?
We bought a home here near Holy Family in year 2000. November 2000, we moved in there, and we were looking for a church, and we found Holy Family, and we are so glad we found Holy Family. So before coming to San Jose, I stayed in Milpitas. First time when I came here, I was in Milpitas, and I stayed for a few years in Sunnyvale, and Holy Family was actually different. The moment I stepped in, the Mass started, I really felt that Holy Family is actually kind of living up to the way we say, welcoming, Christ-centered, and that family environment, that really struck on me. And then I never even went to any other church after that.
So you're married and have 3 children.
2 children.
2 children.
Yes.
2 children.
Yes.
Okay. How did you meet your wife?
It might be strange to most of the people here. It's mostly an arranged marriage, like still very common in India, especially our state also. And it was actually, through parents kind of talking to each other, and then also through, again, like a traditional classified for kind of letting people know that, okay, there is a potential match for you, and then look for it, and then, that's how it started.
Okay. So you were married, did you get married in India before you came over, or did you get married?
No, actually, I got married 1 year after I came here, when I went for a vacation. It was like a 2-month vacation. Everything happened during that time.
Okay. All right. And so what has Holy Family meant to your family, and how, raising your kids? And
both myself and my wife, we were both brought up in the Catholic education system back in India. One of the things we were very clear from early on was actually we wanted to give Catholic education to our kids also. And then again, getting into the Catholic education, a big part is actually kind of the church and the community. So we found it here, and we wanted to actually kind of show things the way we wanted our children to grow into. So my general philosophy is actually faith without action is no faith at all. So I wanted to actually contribute and help whichever way I could to the church. Same way I wanted my children to participate and contribute to the community and church as well. So that's it.
Okay. So let's talk about that a little bit. The ministries you've been involved in here at Holy Family. I know you've been a lector. You've been heavily involved in the multicultural celebration we do each year, and you've been running sound for the Livestream. And, what other ministries have you done?
Those were the main ones. Actually, the multicultural was probably the first thing which I started taking a lead role in something at Holy Family. Again, Susan Olsen, she was kind of a huge influence for me. She was kind of a role model for me to look up, okay, how she's actually doing things, how she's actually going to the details of everything and paying attention to everything, and then training people to do lecturing, all those things I was observing. But I was actually very nervous to step into anything because I always feel that my accent and my ability to communicate, all those things were not really up to the level of Holy Family. So I was actually kind of staying behind, and then she approached me to help with the multicultural. I took up, and then I took the first part of actually kind of managing the entertainment as well as the sound for the community events. And that's how it started.
Okay.
I have another thing about lecturing also. For the first multicultural event we did, I was actually doing the prayers of faithful for representing India in my native tongue. I remember after the celebration, somebody talking to Susan saying that you have a future lector there, pointing at me. So then she actually approached me about lecturing as well. And then I went through the training program, and then I started doing lecturing.
Started lecturing. That's awesome. Right. I know your family has also been very involved. Your daughter sings in the children's choir with my wife. Always excellent psalmist. So I think that influence of you as a father is worn off on your family there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, me plus my wife is actually really, really behind my kids to making sure that they're doing the right things. I'm probably like a little bit lenient, but she's actually kind of pretty traditional parenting style, making sure that, okay, they're doing things, and then she encourages them a lot. And then that is actually definitely helping them to keep up pace and then participate as well.
So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about this last year. In the pandemic, we had to quickly kind of figure out, like, how are we going to do a live stream? And I remember, I think it was Easter, I said, I can't do this alone. I need help. And I gave you a call, and you were absolutely willing to jump in and help do live sound, for that mixing for the stream. What has the experience of being involved in that been like for you?
Yeah, I still remember the Easter Vigil. We were actually attending Livestream, and I've been noticing a lot of challenges and kind of glitches during that Livestream itself. So I was not really that surprised when I got the call from you right after that. And again, you and your family has been a great inspiration for me, because I've been seeing how much time, talent, and treasure you and Gina and the kids spending here. And I feel that I'm not doing enough. All the time I feel that I'm not doing enough, but I have, again, my constraints.
He's doing enough. He's here week in, week out. He's doing enough.
So yeah, I was definitely more than happy to step in and help whichever way I could. I have my willingness to help all the time, but at the same time I have this fear of actually kind of, am I going to mess up something? And then that is always there, but you have been very patient with me so far.
I actually think the same thing every week too. Like when I sit down at the piano, like I'm going to mess up, right? I think that's part of our faith journey, right? It's we fall down, we get up, and
Yeah, that's definitely happening, and also you can see that this 1 year taught us a lot, and then we learned a lot from our experience, and now I could just run it without any problem, like especially all the learnings we did together, and then we continuous improvement. That has been fantastic.
What are you looking forward to most as we kind of come out of the pandemic? And
I am really waiting to see the church full again, and having the vibrant community back, and everything back to normal. I see the whole family, especially with children in the church participating. That's something which I'm missing now.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that back.
So I'm going to go through a set of questions that I go through with every guest here. What is your favorite word?
My favorite word, I would say nature, because that brings up a lot of good memories and tranquility, and also like the sound of water flowing in a river. I like nature. Actually, I grew up in a really remote place that is actually kind of surrounded by mountains and a lot of vegetation. So that's what brings to my mind.
What is your least favorite word?
I would say hatred, that line.
What turns you on?
I feel motivated when I see people coming together to solve a problem or crisis, selflessly coming and helping. That motivates me.
What turns you off?
People being selfish always thinking about their own gains from any situation. I would say.
What sound or noise do you love?
I love the sound of rain falling on the roof, on the trees, the leaves. That's something which I miss a lot here.
What sound or noise do you hate?
People being really angry and threatening. Yeah, that's
Who is your favorite saint?
Saint Mary. I don't know how to think twice because the place I grew up, there was only one Catholic church, that was Saint Mary's. And then, yeah, where I have that motherly connection to Saint Mary, that's the way.
What ministry other than one that you already do would you like to attempt?
I would like to work in prison ministry, to go talk to them and then hear them if possible. That's something which I would like to do.
What ministry would you not like to do?
I don't know whether it's
Or
a
don't
ministry.
feel called to it. Maybe I should change that.
I don't know whether it's a ministry, but I wouldn't want to be the liturgy coordinator or liturgy director role. Seeing all the things which are going on before the Mass starts or during the Mass, that is a very nerve-wracking role.
It is. Christina does a wonderful job at it.
Yeah.
What would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Why didn't you bring your wife with you? No, I was joking. I would, maybe rather than God asking me a question, probably I would ask a question to myself. Did I do enough or everything I could when I was on earth to deserve a place there?
All right. Well, thank you, Philip, for sharing your time, talent, and treasure with us and your time today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Scott. Nice to be here. Thank you.
Well, that's another episode in the books. I'd like to thank my guest, Philip Sovi, for sitting down and sharing his story. If you'd like to share your story, contact Christina in the parish office. We'd love to get to know you too. Till next time, I'll see you in the pews.